Hello, it's me again, Brian. Welcome to another EMOTIONA Podcast. We're in Indianapolis right now. It's kind of a cool little overcast, sort of, it was rainy. Definitely like the clouds are above us. They're surrounding us. I wouldn't say it's gray. It's more of like a light bluish white. And I like that, Some people like get bummed out on rainy days, but for me, it's kind of like a safe place. It's like, ooh, this is kind of cool. Like I didn't turn the lights all the way on in the apartment because I've got these like super bright white lights, to go along with the whole whatever I'm doing. Like there's this like some type of minimal visual thing, and I'll do that with the artwork and stuff. But it's like that's like literally like my reality. Like I'll wake up every single day, and it's just like bright, washed out, walls everywhere. And it's pretty cool. But yeah, we have some stuff to talk about. This is the third episode. I haven't been doing them like every week. Maybe I should do like every Sunday or every Tuesday. But I was just kind of trying to figure out a good like pacing as far as you put out the song and then you put out the podcast, and you put out the acoustic version, and you have the big YouTube video. And I'm still thinking like what just lost my train of thought. It's cool getting into like the podcast mindset, you know what I mean? I really gotta like chill out, because how many chances do you get to like really talk to yourself, Anyways, Florence and the Machine, such a cool, really happy with the way this one turned out, like the third song. And it started with the harp. So my brother Mark, shout out Mark Lennington, a few years ago, got me this harp for Christmas, and it was a really cool gift. I was like, whoa, that's really neat. I've never really played the harp before. So I was just kind of, I always had it like set up in my apartment or my house, wherever I was living, and it always looked really cool, and it set like a certain vibe when you walked in, you know what I mean? And I would tune it up and play it every once in a while, but I knew that there was going to be some type of cool musical project to use it on. And sure enough, I was, these YouTube videos were popping up. I was like, man, that'd be really cool to feature it in one of these projects. So busted it out, and came out pretty smooth. Like, I don't know, some instruments are like that, to where the piano's the same way, to where if you just hit a key on the piano, it's gonna be perfectly in tune, and yeah, you have to get your fingering right. You have to get all the I don't know, you can still, it takes a while to learn how to do it, but it's always going to be on pitch. The pitch is going to be perfect, so that makes it easy. So if you pick out three notes, you can bust out a cool little piece on piano, no problem. You know what I mean? And that was the same way with the harp. So I was like, I'm going to find this a little triplet groove, add some delay, and yeah, it turned out really cool. And it's perfect for just Florence. Their whole feeling is just, super worldly, sort of. I always think of like, Europe or Ireland, or just that whole, I don't know, just older music, cultural stuff. And we don't have as much of that here, in the United States as far as like history and stuff. So I don't know, I was trying to embrace that, and I feel like it came across. Almost like, I don't want to do it too much though. So it's kind of like this funny thing where you want to make something unique and interesting, and something that lights you up on the inside, you know what I mean? But then you don't want it to be too weird and like too dark. Dark's not the word, but anytime you're doing anything mysterious, I always think about, you want the mysterious because you want the X factor. You're like, man, that's so cool. But then you also want it to feel good, And I feel like this song kind of did that for me, at least. It kind of has this really emotional, feeling throughout the whole thing. But it's still uplifting for me, and maybe for some people it's too, sentimental. But sentimental is like that's why I'm here. Like that's EMOTIONA. So I like that. And I'm still, I'm still feeling that out. Obviously, I've been thinking about that a lot. Is like intentionally putting out, not positive and negative is the wrong thing, but uplifting versus heavy. One of my favorite quotes that it was with I Exist. We were putting out some music, and I just heard through a friend that was talking about, they heard some of the stuff we were doing, And it was this lady, and she said, the quote was something like, "Easy to be heavy, hard to be light. Easy to be heavy, hard to be light." And that totally hit me. I was like, boom, it really hit me so hard because I knew exactly what they were saying. It's so easy to get caught up in your feelings and to be super emotional and lay all of your heaviness on the world. Way harder to spin it in the opposite way, to be like uplifting and bright and like use that intentionally be brighter. For me, it's been harder. I'm not sure because I know everyone's not like that. Some people are just naturally brighter music, and that's what comes out, and that's cool. But for me, it's always been in my head, and it's something that I'm super aware of. Like, how does this feel on the other side? And I had a bunch of really cool conversations lately, but one I was talking about that same thing. I was with a friend, and she was talking about Nirvana, and she always thought, because we were talking about the first EMOTIONA song, her project song, and we're talking about that Nirvana song, and she was like, with Nirvana, she always thought that you've got this core, you've got this like essence, you could call it like inspiration, or like that fire of like passion in you. That sounds, as a creative person or a human, you probably know what I'm saying. You have that, and then it's up to you to spin it. It's up to you to decide, how do you want that to come out into the real world, into reality, into the earth. You know what I mean? And she said she always thought Nirvana did it in like spun it in a sad, negative way. But like, for me personally, that's why I got into music. That's why I'm here, because I love that sadness. I love the deepness of it. You know what I mean? And in high school, like, I didn't love happy music. Like, I commented on somebody's post last night. They were talking about like U2, the band U2. And I was like, man, in high school, I really didn't like U2 at all because they were just so happy sounding. You know what I mean? But then I was like, but now as an adult, I get it. Haha emoji. But it's true. And like, there's a bunch of like uplifting bands like Angels and Airwaves. It's one of my favorite bands. And they're very much like, a U2 style band, And back in high school, Dave Matthews Band was the same way. I didn't, I was like, man, Dave Matthews is so happy. But now I like doing both. And with this project in particular, past couple days, I've been thinking about that a lot. And I feel like your special juice, that unique thing is probably somewhere in between. It's where you've got to give them that depth, but maybe just be responsible with it. You know what I mean? I'm not sure what that means when you guys hear that. And maybe in your own way, that means something. But man, the way, and I was also thinking about it like this. Say you have a story in your head. You have your life story, and you want to put it in a song, or you just want to tell it to somebody. You want to tell someone your life story. True or false, you can translate your life story into English to where they can hear you and understand you. And you could also translate that story into some sort of binary ones and zeros, super abstract code. Both would be real. Both would definitely be art. The code is art. Like, wow, that's so profound. No one knows what you're saying, and it's not. It's not hitting. And I was saying that in I've been working on that. What did I call it? I'm doing this course, this class. And I was talking about that in the class, the production course. I was saying like the same thing. Like, I've just been thinking about the responsibility of translating what you have inside of you and not losing the authenticity and that realness, And maybe I'm just overanalyzing it, but I just, and another thing too is like, it's been cool hearing friends listen to these songs, the Nirvana, the Odessa, now Florence and the Machine. And it's been cool judging how they react to the feelings of them, you know what I mean? Like Odessa was, my friends here in Indianapolis, like that was the one. Like everyone was just like, wow, that Odessa remix is so dope and it's so cool. And when I hear it, I knew that was the one too, because it's so bright. It's so beautiful and bright. You know what I mean? Easy to be heavy, hard to be light. And then the Florence and the Machine came out, and it's a little more sentimental, and it's a little more heartstrings. Well, it's called Heartlines, you know? So it's going to tug your heartstrings, right? And for me, that just cuts straight to me. And I know there would be people out there, especially younger people, like high school, you know, early college, whatever, that would identify with that. Because I think when you're younger, you're more in touch with your feelings, honestly. So I don't want to lose that. But I also, yeah, the Odessa one was super cool. And then I've been working on some original music too. And at some point, I'm going to hit the switch and start, you know, working on all original stuff and just go for it. I'm really super excited. I've got a bunch of ideas and can't wait to share them with you, you know? But I was at the core of this this new idea, and right at the beginning of it, like I had this like this moment of like energy, you know, or inspiration, whatever you want to call it. And right at the beginning, I had the choice to start it with like a major chord or some type of major sound, or a sad one. Would the song have been the exact same if I, you know, made it sad? Would it have been the same song? Or because I chose and I was intentional about it, did that change everything? You know? Yeah, so I've just been thinking about that a lot, and I've just been, you know, some really good conversations too, talking with my brothers and like just talking about being intentional with our words. It's so easy to react. You know, you could say that there's all sorts of toxicity in the world, on social media, and all this. Everything's so crazy and terrible, and I feel it. I mean, for sure. But it's so easy to react to that terrible stuff in a terrible way. So much harder and more challenging to take it in and listen, but react in a positive way, in a productive way, and to add, you know, to spin it in a beautiful way. Maybe it sounds corny, but I mean, it's like, and you don't want to lose track of reality. I'm not saying like it's super easy to get too fluffy and in the clouds, you know, like, oh, everything's okay, it's all perfect. It's like, no. It's like, I want to have the hard conversations. I want to have the super sad and terrible conversations, and because it's real, like death, life. It's like it's all here. You know what I mean? But to take that and to move it, to not, you can't delete it, but you can mold it and move it into something better. You know what I mean? So anyways, those are some cool thoughts I've been thinking about lately. Florence is killing it, obviously. I talked about, I think in so a pretty cool thing for tonight, I've got the YouTube video, whenever you hear this, I'm not sure, but the Florence and the Machine EMOTIONA Project number 03 is jumping on YouTube tonight. And I talk about some of the concerts, like I had a few concert memories, you know, and that was really, really cool. But yeah, what an inspiration just seeing, you know, Florence and the Machine. And you talk about some people you see and you're just like, man, like I just need to keep, you know, doing my version of that. That's just like what a cool thing to give people and to give each other, you know, is that that example of like, hey, here's me doing my 100% thing, like this is my version of a superhero, you know, and I'm like being bold enough to be that 100% version of my, you know, my true self, right? But that's cool how we all can do it in different ways, but it's like you have to give yourself permission first. A huge part of this project for me is I had to give myself permission, because it's like no one else is gonna be Piano Rambo and like be some older music guy who's doing all this crazy stuff. And it's kind of silly. Something I've been thinking about too is like it feels silly sometimes. It feels immature to follow, you know, to go all in. But I think there's a lightness about it, and I won't get super deep again, but it's like there's a lightness about it, you know, just you don't want to take yourself too seriously. But I talked about the happy sad translate. I talked about listening with friends, you know what I mean? I've had so many awesome, cool moments with friends here downtown Indianapolis, like just super supportive, like they're all just like sharing it, and they're like, giving me, Brian, super awesome feedback. So friends, love you guys. I mean, it's just been so cool, and it feels good to finally be putting music out there, and it's cool to hear it in different environments. Like, it's crazy hearing it on a Friday night in someone's car, or at like this after party at 3 a.m. at some sick apartment. You know what I mean? Like, and it hits differently. And that's kind of what I was talking about. That's why I was talking for so long about the intention of like what you're putting out there, because it's like you could be in your little basement or your little apartment or whatever and write your music, but when you see what it's like when it comes out into the other outside world, it's totally different. And I've just had some really amazing, beautiful friends that have been supporting me, and I think it's so cool. I can't wait to start playing shows. Like that's my like number one thing. But when the time comes, you know what I mean, it'll come together. And so also been thinking about, I mean, just like format stuff too, as far as video and performance, like TikTok. I've been watching tons of TikTok videos. I'm not sure about you, but like ever since COVID, TikTok like sort of took over my I don't know, I just watched a bunch of videos. And there's some really cool ways to do music on there, and it's totally shaping music and period. Like I sent it to my brothers the other day, but like there's like the Rap Caviar playlist on Spotify is like, it's a greatest hits of TikTok, 3 weeks ago. Like TikTok is the tastemaker for pop music, period. So like, the radio's the same way. I'll be, I'll work out and I'll listen to the radio for a little bit in the car, and they'll be playing songs on, whatever radio station. And it's like, dude, I know these songs. And why do I know them? They're all on TikTok. And they were on TikTok 2 or 3 weeks ago. You know what I mean? Or maybe a month, probably just a few weeks. And that's just pretty cool to see that. And part of being on social media for all of us, but especially as like a creative whatever project, is like figuring out how to put out content. How do you make it make sense? So I've got some cool ideas as far as making some TikTok videos, and kind of, these long form YouTube videos are cool, 12 minutes and stuff, and we'll see what they turn into. But the 10-second, 30-second, 60-second TikTok videos, if I can do it in a cool, interesting way, hopefully, and also like sing more and like actually perform the parts more, that's something that I'm trying to get into. So be on the lookout for that. TikTok at EMOTIONA Music. Let's go. I've just put out a couple of videos so far. Not really like trying to do anything. Just some clips from like the whatever EMOTIONA Project YouTube stuff. And I mean, just put it out there, see what happens. But we'll see. We got a couple song ideas. I was working on the next project number 4. And then it was getting a little too sad. Like back to what we're talking about, I was like, man, this song is so heavy because I love it, but it was like so sad. And I pumped the brakes. I've still got it. I may still release it. We'll see. But it's like, just because I think it's beautiful and super sad and amazing, is that what people want to hear? And again, that sounds like not a cool thing to say, because like you just need to follow what you want to do. But we talked about it. It's a balance, right? If the music was just about me, I would just be headphones on and just playing music for myself. And that's one part of it. But the other part of it is to share it and to like hopefully help people with it, help people through it. So let's see, got a couple more things. Boom, 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 boom. Got to do an acoustic version of this Florence song. I kind of, my buddy Brandon had a ukulele. Was it a ukulele? And it would be cool to do a little Florence ukulele acoustic, because I did a couple piano ones. I don't know if you checked out the YouTube channel. It's kind of hard to search for EMOTIONA on YouTube right now. We're still working on that. But there's a couple I did a piano version of Dumb and Florence. I was like, maybe it'd be cool to do like a little ukulele or a little acoustic guitar Florence thing. But we'll see. Currently took a little sidestep, and a crazy, really cool dubstep friend of mine, I'm doing some really heavy vocals for a special song that I can't talk about. Pretty much signed an NDA, non-disclosure agreement. I can't talk about it. It's exclusive, but it's insanely heavy and super intense. And it's cool to have that like little both. Like I'll do like these Brian Lennington little vocal, I'll jump on my friend's songs and do that. But it's like, man, it's so heavy. And I thought about, like, should I have those on the EMOTIONA Spotify page? But it's like, I was hanging out at my friend's apartment. We're all just having a good time. They were playing, some of the songs. And you would hate to have like, the feeling in the room to be all like, yeah, this is so cool. Like light and nice, lighter. But then it goes into like this dark, like, whoa, I'm afraid for my life. So let's keep them separated. That was a takeaway from last weekend. But there you go, you guys. EMOTIONA Podcast number 03 in the bag here. Might as well, now that we're kind of a little bit established on Spotify, may throw these on Spotify and Apple Podcasts or whatever all that stuff is. Yeah, so keep an eye out for that. Thanks for hanging out and listening. Hope you're feeling the rainy day, if it's a rainy day where you're at, or whatever the weather is. I'm sure it'll turn. So, cool. Have a good one. Peace out.